By the way, let me put this in English. There has been no contradiction on this Adani thing. What Baba said is not contradicting what William Ruto has said. We were going through the process of validation and due diligence. And if someone does not disclose some material facts about themselves, how would you know that they have bribed people elsewhere? You can't tell. I think what Raila said is Adani has done some projects in some places and can be seen. Like in Mumbai, they have done an airport, an excellent airport. Whether they corrupted, that one we cannot know. Kwani sisi tunaishi India, nijue amebribe watu huko kujenga airport. But now that there was special investigation by the US government, and they have discovered there was bribery. The best action for any responsible government is to terminate any other dealings with such an entity. And it is not just Adani, any other person, even if it is a Kenyan, and you are found to have corrupted your ways elsewhere, you cannot be allowed to transact another business with another government entity. That is the way to go. So there is no contradiction. There is no contradiction between Raila and William Ruto. There is no contradiction between Opiyo, Wandayi, and we are all in government. By the way, the moment President Ruto speaks, Mbadi has spoken. So that is where I wanted to disagree with Adui. You know, I am more loyal to Baba than anybody else. Professor Jawachuni, one code, we have a very interesting life. Waero wayo neji telo waduoge waduoge. Professor Nyong'o ni nowe nwa telo mar party. Kosebedo Secretary General mar ODM. Kendo no keto ODM motegno kabisa. Owe nwa go gi chuny maler maonge ng'ama nodhire. Kenane manowena nikech kata obedo ni nokabedo Secretary General, nitie be gimomiyo nokabedo Secretary General. To nabedo chairman mabang' Raila Odinga, ane makoro ne an the senior most jaluo e party mar ODM. Kama ne Nyong'o mane nitie. Kana adhi e cabinet tajaka nwang'o ni Nyong'o jakoduogo koro to obedo kendo the senior most or second senior most nikech baba pod nitie kanyo. Professor Makone. An gemor. Wan waero miyoga ji tich. Nyawene wanga bende chairman mar party. An ahero wene ji tich, nyacha wene Wandayi be minority leader. Kane poka weyo minority leader, Jared ne watiyo maber kabisa kendo ne en ng'ama winjo wach. Mane momiyo abiro ka Jared mondo anyis jodala ugi ni in osiepna. Thank you very much. Gik mwabro loso kodi e ndalo ma wayudo ma Nyasaye omiyowa e nyando nyocha wasewuoye. Kendo wabiro loso. Adwaro ni jothurwa umi Professor Anyang' Nyong'o support. Kata bedo ni John Mbadi odhi e sirikal, odhi bedo minister mar pesa. To chama marwa moriwowa kaka oganda tiluongo ni ODM. Ng'ama oritonwago sani en wadgi Mary. Professor ritnwa chama. Kendo kineno ka Agwambo Nyalego is comfortable ni ine modwane kowuok odhi kocha to weni nyaka bed nitie kama oketie. And I have no doubt in my mind that you will be completely in charge and full control of the party ODM. Uneno gima Nyong'o osetimo Kisumu. Nitiere jomoko ma nyaka wawuo gi Nyasaye. Ni kata koa e kom machielo to nyaka obedie kom moro. There are people who we cannot do without. Professor, you may want, I don't know what position, but kiweyo governor because you must. Chiko chuni Bende wan kodi wan min wakelo chikagi. Indi beda governor milele na milele. But unfortunately 2027 is the york. But we want you somewhere. Come what worry, you know, let us pray hard, Jokisumo, mondo Nyong'o yud kamoro. Mobidi after Utieko service married to the nation and the people of Kisumu as the governor. So weura awach weche moko ka matin tinde atemo balance akele gi kanye nikech anyalo kele yo moro ma ji pare ni to Mbadi ni poden ogo siasa to nyo wamiye tich uneno. First adwana nyisu jonyandu man ka goganda wa majoluo ni kanyo cha babo gombaka gi William Samuel Ruto ma President of the Republic of Kenya to wachona ni Mbadi wadwaro ni mondo warwaki executive ibed minister mar finance. Nitiere gimomiyo na yie. Another nyisu two reasons monomiyo yie. Reason number 1 na nindo maparo mapenjora ni nitie sigana moro ma inyisowa nikech wan waonge ni Jaramogi Oginga Odinga ne wasungu kono ni miyo president mar Kenya to nodagi ni gino miya Kenyatta ni anudi chienga biro pod wamanyo pod warito otamore chopo nyaka kawuono. Kama wantie wan ga lot of respect ge Jaramogi kata enindo kamoninde, but wayuak kendo wang'or e chunywa ni Jaramogi notimonwa makosa kamoro do mak gino gi kacha history mar Kenya do bedo written differently. An bok nyadwa donje group ma joluo bro yuak negi ni nyaka ne Kenya yudo uhuru 1963 ni de pok gibedo gi ministry mar finance ni dero kamigole cham pok ne gibede dode kae timi an John Mbadi ni tachaka ng'ogo na wacho ni I will not do that. Adwa de kanyo to awach ni bede sirikal jothurwa en gima ok rach. Nani nyocha on Tuesday kwa wuoyo gi jatend piny to kona ni Mbadi ere yo mwanyalo create go employment nikech the youth ng'eny mawuok e college. Aneno kanyako ma MCH owacho ni mondo wachiw tich. Serikal ok ndik ji, serikal nigi limited positions. Serikal onego create environment ma kembe wuokie mandiko ji. So penyal watim nang akoni nyaka to koro wamany yo moro ma industries wuokgo. So nitie kaka wang'iyo weche mag special economic zones. Because I want the 5 special economic zones. And we agreed and I was given instruction. We have discussed with Professor, the governor, that there is a special economic zone in Kisumu and that the president gave me instructions. Makibos, we must put enough money in the budget, the coming budget, for that project to go on. That is the instruction. I will just implement. Pesa nyaka waket kanyo. Now, angena dongira kikomatin, but let me say this. Uwinjo, one tugi mawasetimo e Kenya ka piny ngima ong'eyo. Kendo kata de jo Kenya tamre yie gi dhogi to Nyasaye mepolo malo ong'eyo ni joluo osetetea ne jo Kenya. But kogik seche ma ipogo mwandu to jowa ipogo negi gi pendo jiko, gi wendo jiko. Wan ok chuodhnwa go jiko kamipodh chodhne jomoko. To kendo jo Kenya ka nitiere jo kabila moko mo believe ni dongruok gine monego dhi e kuondegi. Nyaka wakel fairness in Kenya. We must bring fairness in the distribution of resources. It is shameful. It is criminal to find that one county, the ongoing road construction, the value is 151 billion, tarmac roads. The next neighboring county is 81 billion. The third county is also a neighboring county at 77 billion. And you come to Kisumu, you find 4 billion. You go to Turkana, you find 100 million. You go to Samburu, it is 77 million. Turkana, 100 million. We are not children of lesser God. We must harmonize. We must redistribute. And that is why I said, Professor, the truth is that some people who cheated us, they were our friends and they were not. If truly you want to help us ascend to power, and 6 months to election, you award contracts worth of billions and billions in your region. Either you are not sure we were going to get that power, or you didn't believe in us. And that is what happened. I have checked. Most of these contracts were awarded 6 months to election, tying the next government with projects in your region. And you are leaving your friends with no allocations. These are things that we must speak out. And so, at Treasury, I am going to bring equity, redistribution. The next budget, and fortunately we have agreed first with the President. 2, even the CS for roads, and I'm very happy with the Minister for Road, Churchill, is the one who has come up with very detailed data, and we have shared with him. Last Friday last week, not yesterday, we sat with him in my office up to 9 p.m. in the night, just looking at how skewed distribution of resources are in this country. Koro mago kambadi gino donjo kanyo to wa correct gik moko ma chendo go mondo dongruok odhi Kisumu to dhi Homabay to dhi Siaya gi kamoro. Wandayi kobedo minister ka mar energy to pesa onge dang okel sitima. Seche moko ineno Grand Coalition government, Professor Nyong'o was in charge of health there with no top minister mar finance to akocha. Odwaro gik moko notim, pesa onge. Ang noloso nugi modwaro. Koro ugo ang nugo mna koko ni Nyong'o bedo kanyo kia 5 years okokonyo ikonyo unade ka pesa okoya ofreje mare madonya. Omiyo jothurwa adadwa wacho weche matie koko. Uneno the truth en niya wan ng'ama waluwo en Raila Odinga. Sani to koro gimakore gi Nyong'o gi Meri. Wabiro go mbaka to waneno to 2027 watimo nang'o. Gima ng'eyo ni osiepe mamako go osiep rach to ok wadhi wamak osiep. Ka in ng'ama in kwa mako kod osiep tidwaro mana mari joyala ng'uon na ato osiep na onge. Bere kwa make gi jomoko osiep jok ma bende deowa. Nyocha wamako osiep moro ka ma higni 5 Mbadi ema stabilize sirikandno. Kadi ne okan minority leader mabe na chalo majority leader sirikand jadogore piny gi siandane nikech Ruto nomako gi mafuanda to kata mana CEO achiel kama mane ondiknwa ne onge kidhi tikoni joluo gi joma nade wadwa mi utelo to pod uthagowa rituru uchano e choke warito ring'o wapomna ka kifunguo ming'ato. Omiyo wagi Meri wabiro go mbaka kaseche go jopo to waneno kama watimore na wadhi sani to pod walem ne baba obed president mar Afrika ok mane gima duong' then modong to wabiro loso onge weche madwa wacho kendo ng'ane adui nyang' no sewuoyo ka ose. By the way, let me put this in English. There has been no contradiction on this Adani thing. What Baba said is not contradicting what William Ruto has said. We were going through the process of validation and due diligence. And if someone does not disclose some material facts about themselves, how would you know that they have bribed people elsewhere? You can't tell. I think what Raila said is Adani has done some projects in some places and can be seen. Like in Mumbai, they have done an airport, an excellent airport. Whether they corrupted, that one we cannot know. Kwani sisi tunaishi India, nijue amebribe watu huko kujenga airport. But now that there was special investigation by the US government, and they have discovered there was bribery, the best action for any responsible government is to terminate any other dealings with such an entity. And it is not just Adani, any other person, even if it is a Kenyan, and you are found to have corrupted your ways elsewhere, you cannot be allowed to transact another business with another government entity. That is the way to go. So there is no contradiction. There is no contradiction between Raila and William Ruto. There is no contradiction between Opiyo, Wandayi, and we are all in government. By the way, the moment President Ruto speaks, Mbadi has spoken. So that is where I wanted to disagree with Adui. You know, I am more loyal to Baba than anybody else. Independent kapile. Koko ngini we chung o chikore independent kata kama nikikura beach bino hono chikore dia independent. Kenda bena nani anikiji moko banga bura tunawacho ni hoyo kababo wacho kanye kama walo. So I know ni baba ema nyaka walo. Tuonge contradiction kinde ki president, and by the way gima president also wacho that is final. So kikuwuog kaendi that there is another discussion around what the president has said. There is no more discussion. Any contract, any arrangement with Adani stands suspended forthwith. Forthwith. The Minister for Finance has said, and that must be followed. Turu ero kamano jo kanisa aparon je kaka wawinjore Jared kwadok Nairobi 2 weeks kikrum tie gik moko makoro nyakwa timne church kombe nyo wasewuoye wabro medo kombe ka wadhi timo ni Wandayi dhi timo mara mondo kanisa obed gi kombe wamiyo mane ang'eyo jadwen gimomiyo ahero unitie wan wa jadwen king'iyo kit jadwen maber kata mobed public office wahero ratero ga weche madieri moriere mochiko yo nuneno Maraga kako tiyo uneno Mbadi kaka tiyo wan weche we are the truthful men. We are the actual truthful men. But let me not forget something, Professor Wajaniseme, then I call you to come and speak. Devolution. I have come from Orange Democratic Movement Party, which believes in devolution. I must support devolution. And Professor, I want to give you my word and commitment. I will strive to make sure that counties are well resourced. That is why I made sure, even though we started releasing money late because of technical legal challenges, up to this week, Monday, I have made sure that monies have gone to counties up to the end of October. I only want to plead with the controller of budget. As you do your work independently and assess, please make sure that our counties are facilitated to receive their money. There is no reason why after we have released money, then money is stuck at central bank in CRF accounts. It doesn't help. We want money to get into the pockets of Kenyans. That is why Kenyans are saying that there is no liquidity, that they don't have money. It's because money is stuck at the treasury. At the central bank. We want money to come to Kisumu. They pay salary to staff so that they can pay rent, and then everyone will have money in their pockets. We want them to pay contractors so that they can go and pay the suppliers of the goods and services which they procured to support the county, so that we have money in our pockets. Pending bills, we are going to make sure that February, March, we start paying all the pending bills of the national government. Whether we are staggering them for 2-3 years, we will have a deliberate strategy to pay pending bills. That is the only way to unlock and stimulate our economy to have an economic growth that Kenyans can be proud of and which will create job opportunities. Asanteni sana. Allow me at this juncture Mondaluong Professor Nyong'o. You can rise so that we invite Professor Nyong'o to speak to the congregation. Thank you, Professor.
Asante sana ndugu wangu bwana waziri. Joturwa moso no saureuru. Ya kumoza mochiek maber mawinjo. Osaureuru. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Haleluya. Asante sana. Mokwongo adwa goyo erokamano ahinya ni kanisa and the leaders of this church for allowing us to come and worship with you through the invitation of my dear friend Jared Okelo. Jerry. Ingeni kinema kuma chon ne man candidate kae. Ena ken no chinkure. Koro no wa ene candidate is doing very well. Kuro wa muoroni kuchu wabiro kwacho bahero ka dano wa Jerry emanangi boyini. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. To mara riyo adwa goyo erokamano ahinya jotelo duto mobiro kaka wuono. Kinda eteko okamano sinani elweny kwatimo kinda kaka joluo kuom gero thurwa. It doesn't matter what problems we have, we shall succeed. Joluo wacho ni kinda eteko sinani elweny. In English it is determination is strength, resoluteness is the essence of struggle. Kwa hivyo what Mbadi has said and what my colleague leaders here have said, nyaka wamaki go motegno. Anadwa wacho gik moko abich kende tabet piny. Mokwongo akelo nu mos ma kuom jaoda iluongo ni Dorothy Nyagem. Uhuru nu mos okwawa. Jomoko luonga ni Wuod Mary, okan Wuod Mary, an owad gi Mary. Sawa. Winjo wachno. Mary no nyamerwa mokwongo dala waka Nyong'o kucha. Kendo nyako motegna ahinya. Ene mano pidhowa kwa ni school. Koro ji ne wega ni en mama. No pidhowa nikech wadi Alliance to en Nairobi. Koro my mother surrendered us to her. Mami Mary no nyinge ng'eny ahinya kije nene na kore kwa mbese na Raila giri. No ng'eni mai the bringer up of this kid. Sawa. Koro no jugi mko bikende. Mokwongo, let us understand the meaning of the broad-based government. When I was asked by the press, when there was a lot of misunderstanding about the broad-based government, I go, why did you as opposition parties send your men to join Ruto's government as minister? Why? I said it's very simple. We sent them to make a broad-based government. Then they asked me, what is a broad-based government? Well, we realized that this government had a very narrow vision of the country. We wanted to send our people to broaden their vision. Nama sivyo, makoro hapo basi. Mara hiyo, kaka Mbadi wacho. We also looked at the government and said, look, there are 42 or 47 ethnic communities in Kenya. You cannot look at a government and you only see two. It is not broad enough. So when our people go there and tell the truth to power, moyero mutegna enya. Opiyo Wandayi togi osiepnani Mbadi. Niune ma wenge utek kendo utegno. Donjuru kanyo mondo broaden the vision of this government and make sure that in the appointment of people in government it is broad. Makofi. Don't listen to what Mbadi has said. I think they are fulfilling their mission. So let us give them support. Motegno. You must support your vote to Nagabadi Malo. To that cutting we can because okay chikaeu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mara riyo kaka interim party leader mar ODM. Ingeni nyak understand gimomiyo ji donje parties. People form political parties to grab power. Ogin picnic groups. Kada joma loso mchango mararus. You enter political party to have political power. And political power in a democratic society is achieved through elections. So a party that wants political power must organize itself to win elections. And you know that we have won about 2 or 3 elections in this country. But we are denied the possibility of forming a government. Wanjo kinda, kina ujusi nani. We have not given up. Kwa hiyo, nyinyi ambao wakawapa leo, lazima nyinyi nyote hakikisha ya kwamba nyinyi nyote ni members wa party ODM. Very soon, from 27th of this month, we are organizing elections, grassroots elections of the party ODM. You are the members. You are the people who make ODM. You must make sure that elections starting on the 27th, we hear leaders from the grassroots, which will make us form government, grab political power. Uyego. Yumuye timi bari malu. Jo atongich kitanade angoti mu kochika u. Uyego. Yeri yego. Main mini ye. Gotta lead them. On the 27th, we have very successful elections of ODM. Mabiro yo jowa manyalo miyo kwa the elections mabiro to form government. Maradek. Mbadi wachobera ina. The government in which he is serving is going to strengthen special economic zone. Korwakoni. Okay, special economic zone kwa mfano tu. Iti memo wayud investment in that special economic zone. And that is why, when I heard this information from Mbadi, I said we must prepare to a tayari to invest in this special economic zone. Omiyo week mabironi, one investment conference medunga inya Kisumu, supported by the Afri-Exim Bank. Mano bank padunga inya Africa. Mwadwa ne jogo duto mwadwa invest in our region. Obi mundu walosi. Mundu wanyisi ikidwa invest ka onge thagruok one special economic zone. Ibida to qualify tedikanyo usuru tin land nitie, services nitie, infrastructure mbadigi kelo. Your responsibility as an investor is to bring investment. Winjo. Mano investment conference mwatimo Kisumu ka week mabiro supported by Afri-Exim Bank. Chwadna urulwedo. Kora wacho mogik tabir piny an wecha natin nikech an japuonj. Awacho ni yani jothurwa ka jowa nie sirikal ma broad based ma wan wang'e gimomiyo watedo gi kuro. Ka in wach moro awacha midewa wacho kata penjo Jared nika ama sivyo, MCS nitie, jopati nitie jowa moko mabira kor gweng' chako wacho gik moko to information madwarore me gimbio piny oking'eyo. So we are asking them, if we are in this journey together as Joluo, mondo wadonje sirikal, to jowabe koro nie sirikal, mondo konywa. Let us seek information before we talk. Are we together? Kidwa wacho gimoro kiwacha da gikori kaka pipenjo. Jared nika. Okidhi liel, tidhi arus, nikech idwaro no yieri, tidwa bedo popular, koro your role is to criticize ng'ama timo gima ber kikia gimotimono. Sawa sawa? Awacho koso kawacho. Uyego koso kuyego. Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Yeah. Thank you, Bwana Governor. Thank you very much for such a powerful speech.
Happy day. Thank you very much. Adwa mondo akel mos makende mamara tayo to ugro yie na mondo awuog adlao shughuli moro cho alego Siaya. To kata kamano an gi moro ahinya ni kawuono kendo ayudo thuolo mar biro Thuka. Jadi morwaka to kendo. Anyalo paro maber ahinya higa mokalo dwe mar 8 ne wan ka kod baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Koro okelo, this is going to be perhaps an annual event or occurrence of sorts. And wabro duogo utoka endi and nyando kaeni dinoya. So let me say this, and Jared is correct. For you to see us here more and more of, it's a demonstration of the fact that we have got a very strong bond and friendship between us and your MP. Mbunge uni eninga malongu. An noida ibunge kuchu. To yanda we ikuru. Kadonje serikali mamalo. To anyway malongu. Kendo kata bunge kucho kande an kode kaka jatende. To anyway makalo wenye wuok to ok ring lweny. Kendo bende hakoro wecho moko. Idwaro joma diro kisungu mapiyo piyo. To Jared Okelo is one of them. Aningenu mita hero jomong'eyo kisungu. If Jared is one of them. En kisungu maonge kiawa. Koro en un jonyandu un gi hawi. So protect him. Okamano. Ariyo en Governor Mama Rujo Kisumu. Professor Nyong'o is our mentor in many respects. Tokendo Kisumu ka Professor is leaving a very rich legacy during his tenure as governor. He has done marvelous, and we are very proud of him and his government in Kisumu. Tomolo ya inya kakajare do wacho no one pod one jota chielo kaman. So Professor now is the acting party leader, Mar ODM. Professor, when I heard that announcement, I was out of the country. In fact, I sent you a message. I'm sure you received so many messages that day of congratulations. I was the happiest person because I had no doubt in my mind, and I still don't have any shade of doubt in my mind that under leadership, the party is in safe hands. Under Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o's leadership, ODM is in safe hands. And let's therefore support him. Koro katiyeku. Nikech mang'eny osewachore. And I want to say this, that history has put us in a very unique place as the people of this region. One kakajoluo, for the first time in history, wabedo kod opportunity mar bedo kod teko e sirikal mok nwagon kura. And I can tell you this for sure, nikech an asebedo bunge mang'eny, sani bende koro an executive matin. To history mar piny be asesomo. All those years since independence up to now, this is the first time our people from this region are holding substantive positions in the cabinet. Onge ching wasebede kod minister mar finance turwaka. Sani koro an kadwaro gimoro from national treasury tagono mana Mbadi sim kendo gidoluo mako kayude tanyalo gon jaode maroda bende sim to nyisa kama entie to loso na weche mag sirikal ok mano ber jodalawa. To ka weche moko, weche mag sheria, weche mag code, to amanya dor kaso dur mabende nyaruka to mana gidoluo mano wat malich ahinya. To weche mag stima mafuta to an machungi kenda chungi bangiro rai mbele kae ni udhina lokruok mang'eny ahinya. You are going to see a lot of changes in our infrastructure for power transmission and distribution in this region. In this region. Just like we are going to do transformation in the rest of the country. In the rest of the country. And therefore, I am very proud to be a member of the broad-based government. The broad-based government is a caring and listening government. It's a government that is responsive and sensitive to the needs of the people. Of the people. Kuratieko. Gimaduong turwa kaendi mosemiyo jo Kenya mamoko uluorowa kata miwa respect and unity of purpose. Wach mar riwruokno nyaka wadhi kodo mbele. Very important. Very, very important. Kok uriwore ubedo gimoro achiel to ubedo jogo mayot tiyogo. To ka wariwore wamakore wabedo gimoro achiel, then we get a strong voice. A united people are a strong people. And a strong people are able to fight for their rights. Manegi mose konyo joluo. Mogi, I want to thank the president because I am aware the kind of efforts he has put in campaigning for our leader Raila Amolo Odinga, the kind of machinery and systems that has been put by the president and his government to ensure that Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, come February next year, becomes the first East African to lead the African Union Commission, a position that is going to elevate him to the level of presidents and international statesmen. And therefore, Jodolo, please continue praying for Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, that come February, he not only wins that election, but he wins it resoundingly in a manner that nobody will ever dispute. Martin go to the Tindo Koyenwa Goyarambi, but I will deal with Kili with Jamok. Allingly, oh come on. The Sai Madigu, the Rukamanaya, may God bless you. And before she left, Meshimiwa Ruth Odinga, no way mostly. No ringo the other Mama Chielo, but no one called the Kuru and Kodu in spirit. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Adongavel.
Authority, SHA. You are aware now, Kenyans are aware that we have moved away from National Hospital Insurance Fund to a new entity called the Social Health Authority, which is managing the health care activities in the country. We know that the government committed itself to provision of universal health care, and this is a wide topic. I don't want to go into the details. Maybe I just talk about what the President spoke about, maybe to provide clarity. The 5 billion, and actually now it is even more than that 5 billion, it's almost 6.6 billion that has been paid to the various health providers and the National Hospital Insurance Fund. So that bills were incurred by National Hospital Insurance Fund, we are trying to pay them in bits because we can't pay them at a go. It was accumulated bills that have to be paid gradually. So we have agreed with the medical service providers that as they continue providing services under the new scheme, that we clear off the pending bills. And that is what the President spoke about, and we have released that amount of money and added additionally 3.5 billion. And we will continue to support Social Health Authority. But again, I want to also point out that the Social Health Authority has also started getting its own resources, which now they will be able to meet the expenses without relying on exchequer. This was to jumpstart it and to pay the previous accumulated bills. On the issue of the special economic zone, and I think both the governor and myself have spoken about it, to create employment opportunities for our youth, we need to provide an environment, infrastructural environment for industries and factories to come up. And this can only be done by deliberately creating special economic zones where you have the facilities, the basic facilities that are needed. You have the infrastructure in terms of the road network, and you also have the energy provision. You have better facilities to accommodate, and now which would attract investment. The governor, and I'm sure he will speak to this, has told you about the investment conference which is coming up here in Kisumu, and on Tuesday the president will officially open it. And I've told the governor I will also accompany the president because he's being supported by a Flexim Bank, which again falls under my ministry. We are giving support not just to Kisumu County, but even other counties. But Kisumu County has a special space because it is one of the cities in this country. And we want Kisumu County to have renewed growth in terms of attracting investment under the leadership of Professor Peter Nyong'o. And I have instruction from the President that we must, going to the next budget, provide reasonable budgetary provision. And already Professor is working on the details and the data and the amount, and we will announce soon with him how much is going to be put in the budget to jumpstart the establishment of special economic zone in Kisumu. That is what we can do for our people. Professor.
Last one from me. When you mentioned that you cancelled all the deals for the Adani, so now what is next for JKI from here?
What is next? I think Kenyans need to understand what this PPP concept is. PPP concept is about public-private partnership. And that the government has offered some of its huge infrastructural projects to be developed through private-public partnership. So any private entity, any individual with resources across the globe is now aware that JKIA needs to be developed and that the Kenyan government is ready to engage a private developer. It doesn't have to be Adani, and I've said this severally. We have to embrace the concept of PPP, but it doesn't have to be Adani. And if it has to be done, it must be first in the interest of the Kenyan public, and it must be done above board. If there are doubts, like there are now doubts about the integrity of Adani, then you cannot proceed with it. But the moment we stop it, by the way, the Adani procurement system was a PIP, which can be terminated at any stage so long as you have not signed a contract. And if another person comes with a better deal, you would even drop the one you are pursuing and get another one. We are still open to any other investor out there who wants to invest by partnering with the government to develop JKIA, because we must. JKIA is now outdated, it is dilapidated, it is not an airport that can compete with other airports in the region. Kenya has been leading in the region as economic hub. We must maintain that by developing our airport. But that can be done through another. There are so many other investors out there. We invite them to come forth and engage with us, and when their proposals are analyzed and assessed and we find that we can proceed with them, we will proceed with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just add to
I want
that.
Professor to speak.
Let me just add to that. You see, you want capital and you don't have it. You must create a framework for that capital to come in. In this regard, there is something called PPP, where the government says, we'll enter partnership with you in bringing capital into our economy on the following terms. Those terms are negotiated between the government and the investor. So it depends on what kind of investment it is. If it's a railway line, it might have different terms. If it's a supermarket, and so on. And so the Minister for Finance is saying, we want Kenyatta International Airport and other airports to be competitive in East Africa, because Kenya is an important epicenter of business in Eastern Africa. In fact, Kenya is one of the leading investment ports now in Africa. So we must create a favorable environment for more and more investments to come in. And that one of them is through PPP, which is very simple. But let me now talk about special economic zone. The special economic zone is the same thing. What we have in Kisumu is plenty of land, plenty of labor, good climate, accessibility to other markets in East Africa through Lake Victoria. We hope that special standard gauge will be built soon, to make transport on railway much more rapid, much more reliable. But we have a port which has been modernized, where there is only one major factory in Kisumu, the ceramic factory in Miwani, which is exporting tremendous ceramics to Tanzania and Uganda through the port. We would like other companies to do what the ceramic factory is doing. But if you go to that factory, you'll be amazed. It is 1 kilometer long. Inside that 1 kilometer factory, they're manufacturing a lot of ceramics for export to Uganda and Tanzania. Now, the minister and I are working hard to create conducive environment for such investments to come, to capitalize on this very good port for our exports to the region. We can export to Uganda, we can export to Tanzania, we can export to DRC through the lake. Because that is a resource that is now has been underutilized since the East African community collapsed in 1978 and it's being revived. Finally, let me talk about the Afrexim Bank support for an investment conference coming to Kisumu. That investment conference called African Sub-Sovereign Network. Sub-Sovereign Network Investment Conference. Sub-sovereign means countries which have devolution like us. So we are inviting partners from all over Africa who have sub-sovereign government, in fact devolved government, to come to this conference. Because when you are investing in a devolved government, it's very different from when you're doing with the national government. Because here is a symbiosis between the national government and the devolved government. And here's a situation where the devolved government is taking the initiative to bring investors, which national government supports, and invite other sub-sovereign governments in the region to come to Kisumu. We have people coming from Tanzania, Sudan, Uganda, and so on, already in Kisumu today for this conference. So this conference is also going to strengthen our trade network, our investment network, as Kisumu County with other sub-sovereign regions in Eastern Africa, in Kenya as well. Understood? Clear? Thank you. Very good.